it's taken to record this video. Alright. Hey y'all, welcome to Clove Room. If you hear licking noises, it's my dog, Remy. He's beside me and wants to be near me, I think. Today is Clove Room, Last Chance Kitchen, or Last Chance Beauty, if you will. If you are not familiar, Last Chance Kitchen is a sort of spin-off, or I guess rather a show within a show of Top Chef, which is a very popular reality competition cooking show on Bravo. On Top Chef, usually a chef is eliminated every weekend. Padma Lakshmi very iconically says, "Pack your knives and go," and they pack their knives and go. In one season, they had this giant twist where they introduced something called Last Chance Kitchen. So the chefs thought they were done, then they walked into the kitchen, and Tom Colicchio, who is very, very handsome and reminds me that I am very much into men. Tom Colicchio is like, "You're not done yet," and basically they have a chance to cook their way. Yeah, I guess to like cook or battle their way back into the competition. Drag Race, I think, did something recently like this, but with lip syncs, where there was like a competition within a competition, and whoever won the big lip sync battle got to go back into the competition. I think only once that I know of in Top Chef history, a chef has come back through Last Chance Kitchen and actually won the entire show. It's never happened on Drag Race, I'm pretty sure. I have a lot of beauty products. There's a couple of categories where I don't have applicable products, but in every category, I sort of have a product that when it, like in my mind, I don't know what I want to do with it. Because there's some products in my collection I definitely want to declutter the next time I do a big collection declutter. There's obviously a lot that I want to keep. And then there are these that I very much am like, I don't know if you deserve to stay, but I also don't necessarily know if you deserve to go. One of it is just I don't remember how they perform, or they weren't performing last time I used them, but it's been months. And I'm just giving them one final chance to sort of impress me. Now, of course, if any of these do, or I'm curious about any of these, I will keep using them and see if I want to keep them. This isn't really last chance, but I thought it would just be fun to do this because I think sometimes these types of products are really hard to incorporate, especially my schedule now where a lot of times I'm doing my makeup for work, so I will be seeing other people face to face, so I would like to look good, but also I'm running a lot of mornings I run behind, or there's a lot of mornings where I don't have a ton of time to get ready, so I need to reach for very dependable products that I know will do what I want them to do. So it's sometimes hard to get these into your routine. And even today, I'm like, I kind of want to use my favorites and not these. But I need to figure out how I feel about these so I can act accordingly. So that's what we'll be doing today. I'll be putting all of it on my face. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cam. I'm a non-binary transfem creator. I love discussing and analyzing trends, beauty, and pop culture. I would love to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you do end up enjoying today's video. It'd be great to have you join the little Clove Room. And if you have already subscribed or you're not sure about subscribing yet, I totally get it. I sometimes need time with people. Please give this video a like. It helps me a lot in the algorithm, and it helps people find my they-them content. With all that being said, let's get into it. Let's start with eyes, because I already did my brows. Both of these kind of range on the more I don't really like them side, but I just need to decide if I want to keep them around. So the first is actually a liquid matte eyeshadow from Ilia. This is their liquid powder matte eye tint. It's in the shade Cork. It's just a very cool toned matte eyeshadow. The problem I've had with this in the past, let's it blend it out, is that it makes my eyes look really, really dry, which I've never had a problem with. I have a little bit more oily eyelids, but this just truly dries them out and looks so heavy and just bad on them. I also just find liquid matte shadows usually are more of a pain to use anyway, so I bought this, probably shouldn't have bought it, and then was pretty immediately like, because I always love the fantasy of a liquid matte eyeshadow. It's like, yeah, I'm a cool girl. I just do a da-da-dum, and it's done. But every time I've tried to do that, it's more like, I'm just a cool girl. And then I'm like, oh God, that looks terrible. And I have to like spend 20 minutes trying to finesse it and save it, which is not very cool, girl. I want to use that as a base. And then I have two eyeshadow palettes here. Both are from Alter Ego, so I'm kind of categorizing them the same. One is their dupe of the Natasha Denona bronze palette, and one is their dupe of the Natasha Denona gold palette. I can show you if you care. I don't know. I feel like we all know what a gold Natasha Denona gold and bronze palettes look like. There you go. I bought these when I really wanted to buy a Natasha Denona palette, but I didn't want to spend the money. And these are, you know, Alter Ego is a dupe brand, and I'd heard pretty good things about them. I like never really reach for these. The matte formula is pretty good. I would say it's a pretty good dupe of the Natasha Denona matte formula. The shimmers, however, are like, they like swatch pretty, but they're just very unimpressive on the eyes. This palette, and this is more a problem I think with the bronze palette from Natasha Denona, it's just so monochrome that every time I use it, I get the same look. Also, I haven't really tried that much from Natasha Denona except a few minis. This cream to powder shade is terrible. And again, I don't know if that's a testament to like how bad the Natasha Denona formula is or how bad Alter Ego was at duping it. And so I did actually use Canyon, which is what the bronze palette dupe is called. The gold one is called Goddess. I have used Canyon, and this is kind of the color story I more easily reach for. And I've just not liked the look, so I think I've decided I am going to declutter this, because if I want to go this way, I actually have formulas and palettes and shadows that I prefer. And there's just like one too many shimmer duds in here, and I don't know, not my favorite. So I think that's definitely going to go. Now we just have to decide with Goddess. I haven't used this one in I've honestly barely touched this palette. This is like, I think supposed to be like a dupe for like the really cool topper that's in the gold palette, and it already has hard pan, and it doesn't. Let me do like a nice swatch for you. There's like I dug my finger in swatch. That's it on the hand. Like, it's so bleh. Like, there's just nothing there, and it's even worse when you try it on the eyes. So we already have one dud shade, which is annoying. I haven't really played that much with this, though, so I want to do, like, a full look with this today. I'll use the Ilia as a little primer? Base? Base. We'll go with base. And I actually do have, like, an proper matte eyeshadow base that I'm going to put on now. It's the Ulta Matte one. And I'm going to try not to have my mirror cover up what the camera. What am I trying to say? I'm gonna try not to have my mirror when I hold it up cover up the camera, but no promises. She is still an amateur beauty YouTuber, y'all. I guess I'll just like kind of draw this on and just use a little bit, because like I said, it gets heavy real fast in my experience. I'm just gonna use this rougher 27 to try to blend it out. Y'all, the way I need to wash my brushes so bad. It is disgusting. Like, I spot washed them today, but which is nice. I have like one of those like spray cleaners that just gives them like a quick rinse, gets most of the pigment off, makes them a little cleaner. But like, we're at the point where I've done that like quite a few times. I need to just give them a proper sink wash. Some like Castile soap. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know if it's like, this is also, all Ilia products are like, I would say $8 to $10 too much. And this is like $28, which is silly. Silly. Even if this is good, like one liquid eyeshadow being $28 is just silly. Now, does it look nice? It actually does. Like, that's a nice, very basic color. I mean, I already have the shade as a powder, I'm sure, many times over. And I could also probably just use, like, bronzer. Like, I used my powder bronzer and a blush the other day as eyeshadow, and I kind of got this look. I guess cool girl fantasy is still maybe in the picture. Now, you know what, I'm not crazy. See how it's emphasizing my eye creases? that doesn't happen when I use powder shadows. Like, I don't know if it needs to be set, but then again, if we're like going clean beauty, cool girl, one and done, like that's silly to have to finesse with this so much. And herein lies the problem with pretty much all liquid eye tints. Same with the Sky Washes from Glossier. Like, they're just not that easy to use. And it's like, if they're not easy, and they, like what's the point? What's the point? Obviously, it's a matte eyeshadow, but it almost feels mattifying, if that makes sense. Like, it's not just like a color that has a matte appearance, but it feels like it's mattifying my eyelids, not necessarily in a flattering way. I also feel like Ilia is a brand that markets itself to older folks in the makeup community too, which is great. But I don't know if this is like mature eyelid friendly or crinkly eyelid friendly. Crinkly eyelid friendly. Let me be an ally to the crinkly eyelid community. In this palette, I think I'm kind of drawn to, I think I'll probably go in between like Russet and Scorch, these two matte browns to start with. Then I really want to use Cliff all over, and then we'll see where we end up. I may incorporate blue since that's like the pop in this palette. We shall see. So I'll start with Scorch. I'm just using the same brush I was just using. I remember really liking these mattes, just like not enough to keep the palette for just the mattes. I'm gonna go and Russet. I should add, Alter Ego just came out with a dupe for the ABH Nouveau palette, and I have wanted that palette so badly. But I, because of like morals and stuff, don't want to support ABH. After the whole Putin and, I mean, maybe, like, pick a scandal, any scandal with them, like, ABH is not known for their ethics, and I was just like, I really just don't want any ABH in my collection, to be honest. If you use ABH, no judgment, unless you use them because of the Putin stuff, then judgment. Those mattes are blending out just fine. We've been new. I'm gonna go into Cliff and just kind of put that all over the lid. So I need to watch some reviews, because like, I'm guessing that palette will be different formulas than these, because those will be trying to dupe ABH, right? So I'm kind of interested in buying that, even though I don't really reach for these Alter Ego palettes, but I adore the Nouveau Color Story. Like any other brand, I mean, maybe not any, but like most other mainstream brands, if they had come out with that, I would have bought it pretty immediately. I've almost bought the ABH one, but I just can't bring myself to buy from them, even though that is like my dream color story. I actually duped it with singles I had. I came pretty close, but I don't know. I guess I'm just concerned about the shimmer formulas, because I've just been so unimpressed with these, to be honest. This is like pretty. It's very like full pigment metallic, which isn't usually my vibe. That's not the fault of the shadow. It's what it's trying to dupe, right? I'm gonna blend the crease a little bit more, with a little bit more russet, I think. And I don't know. It looks fine. I'm not in love with it. I just don't know if either of these color stories either is really perfect for me. I'm gonna swatch 3 of these shades to see if any of these can maybe give us a little bump. It doesn't. Oh my god. Okay, so I was hoping this would be kind of like a topper. It's at the bottom and like really pitiful. I can't imagine how bad that'd be on the eyes. Also have a rattlesnake in the middle and plateau. This one, I like Sakachoni palettes on camera. On top. None of those are really giving what I want. This is Expanse, this is Sear. They look pretty, but they're just like a little dark and golden for my liking. Again, this is like more of an indictment of I shouldn't have bought this. I mean, I bought it like a while ago, but I'm sure because they were having some like 2-for-1 deal or something. I'm gonna add a little bit of this olivey shade, Desert Sun. Oh, the mattes feel so nice. The mattes feel so lovely and buttery and creamy. That's a really pretty shade. It's just the other shades that I don't love. I'm gonna go in with this smaller Real Techniques brush and just kind of blend that a little on the outer corner. Oh, just went into the wrong shade. I think the Natasha Denona Gold palette's actually back too. So, woohoo! Is that exciting to anyone? You know what, I'm gonna try a little Plateau to see if that'll spice it up. Because looking at it again, that one kind of has the most oomph to it. Okay, that's with Plateau, that's without. I don't really notice much of a difference. That's the thing, I just like, every time I try to kind of build texture and color gradients with these shimmers from Alter Ego, they all just kind of like mesh into one kind of, it's sort of shiny thing. And again, I think some of that is just like poor formula in my opinion. And then some of that, because I've seen swatches of like the real Natasha Denona Gold shimmers before, and they're a lot more impressive than this. And I also think it's the fault too of how sort of monochromatic both the gold and bronze are as color stories. So we fucked around, we found out. I think I'll probably be decluttering both of these. Next, I'm going to use, this is not in danger of getting decluttered. This is the Makeup Hydrogrip. I like this primer for when I need a little bit more long wear. It's nice. I want to use this with this Kosas foundation because I probably used half of this Kosas foundation. I've had it for a really long time. And there's been stretches where it has been the main foundation and I need to put my hair back. LOL. This milk headband was like a free gift with purchase. And I should mention I did like my skincare and SPF and all of that probably an hour before I filmed, so it's still somewhat fresh and my skin feels nice and hydrated. I got this Kosas foundation like probably more than a year ago. Well, more than a year ago actually, what am I talking about? And I have just never enjoyed it. I always forget how it looks because it's kind of unremarkable when it goes on. Like, it looks fine. It sort of looks like skin, but it wears horribly, like horribly. But I would love to have a change of heart, you know, because it's a really nice shade for me. Like, it might be a little, no, I mean, that's like pretty perfect, I think. I'm going to use a sponge to apply it. I haven't used a sponge in so long, but I think some of these products, a sponge might help. So we're going to give it the best chance. Oh, and wow. I washed my hands, but in putting that primer on, I am now Edward Cullen. So whatever shimmer wasn't on my eyes is now all over my face. Awesome. So there's now eyeshadow sparkle everywhere. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Hopefully this will cover it up. I swear, no matter how much I wash my hands after applying a shimmer like that, like it will always end up all over my face. Like, glitter has no mercy. And those aren't even like why don't they look that glittery on my eye? Why do they only look glittery when they're spread all over my face? Oh yeah, this scent is bringing back memories of when this was my go-to foundation like a year. I might have even got this like 2 years ago. It might be pretty old. But I use the Makeup Hydrogrip because like I just find that this sometimes, well not sometimes, it doesn't wear well. It wears pretty badly, or poorly, I should say. It looks fine now. That's like one sort of layer, coat, whatever. It's like pretty low coverage. I also, you know, sheared it out and all of that. I mean, I like it. I don't think it makes... Oh no, I use like the Say Slip Tint or my Glossier Skin Tint, and I'm like, wow, my skin just looks so much better. And with this, I'm like, it covered things up. It looks okay. I really like the shade though. I think that's why I used it so much. I'm gonna build it up a little bit just to see where we can get. But yeah, like I said, the other thing about this is that it just wears like absolute ass. It looks really sort of like gummy and sludgy by the end of the day. Not even necessarily like, oh, excess oils, but it just kind of comes apart in a way that is not great. I feel like a tad light for me right now, but like once I get bronzer on, it will probably be pretty perfect. I feel like my skin is smoothed. I like that. And it is a really nice level of coverage for me. And this is what happens. Every time I use this, I put it on and I'm like, you know what? That looks pretty nice. I could use that up. Like that is a nice go-to everyday coverage product. And then 4 hours later, I look in the mirror and I look awful. Like I look really bad. Like my skin looks worse than it does without makeup. I don't know if it's looking great and my forehead creases, so don't love that. It's definitely not too dewy. It's like pretty skin-like, so it's sort of like a satin matte right now. I'm gonna see how this wears today. If it ends up wearing okay, maybe I will keep it around. Next I have the UOMA Stay Woke Concealer out in the shade Fair Lady T1. It might be like a little... it's a little peachier than the Kosas. It does have some brightening properties, so it works well as an under eye concealer for me. I really like this concealer. I've actually gone through one like right when it launched. I remember I saw Sam Ravindell use it, and I was like, oh my god, it looks so good on Sam. And it was like the first concealer I really, really loved, because so many concealers just made my eyes look worse. This one is like pretty full coverage, but has sort of like... not like a glowy finish, but it's just like a hydrated satin matte finish, I would say. I think they've slightly tinkered with the formula recently. And I bought, like when I bought this, I bought it for like 70% off straight from them, because I think they were discontinuing this. Although I still think they have the OG formula available, but they've repackaged it, slightly tweaked the formula. So I can't vouch for that one, but I do like this one. I just have a lot of concealers. This one's pretty old. I also got it on hella clearance, so I imagine it was made a while ago. So if I'm not going to use this up soon, I like feel like I probably need to toss it, but I want to try it out because I haven't like used it in so long, and I've like used up an entire bottle before, so I know I like the formula. Like I said, it has a really nice level of coverage. I feel like pretty much took care of all of my under eye darkness. It actually worked really well as a spot concealer, which is not what I remember. I remember only liking it under the eyes, but using this sort of like fluffier brush and like really like taking time to like press and sort of like blend it in. I really like how it looks as spot concealer. Yeah, this isn't going anywhere. I just wanted to like make sure it was worth keeping, and I think it absolutely is. I mean, I'll see how it wears today too, but yeah, it's just a great full coverage option, so I think it will be staying in my collection. So that's good. Thank you, Oma. What else? All right, now we're gonna move on to complexion products, and I think they're pretty much all creams or liquids of some sort. This one was actually a gift from my pal Tom, the Hope Messiest of Toms, Tom, Hope Mess Tom of Hope Mess Tom fame, of Hope fame, Hope Mess and fame and Tom, Hope Mess Tom. They were so generous and sent me like a giant package of makeup. We had talked about them because they saw my video where I was talking about how I wanted to try Ritual Defeat, and they had some eyeshadows from the brand that they were going to get rid of. So they were like, I would love to mail them to you. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then the package shows up and it is giant box of makeup. So much so, it came like months ago and I still haven't wrapped my head around everything that's in there. I want to do a video in the future kind of like reviewing HMT's garbage that they decided to send me. Because I think that'd be like a funny take on it. Because it's not that it's garbage makeup at all. It's beautiful. Like a lot of it's like luxury makeup that I would never buy. So Tom's the best. I think we all know that. If you're here, you're probably here because Tom shouted out my channel a couple of times. So Hody's in the house. Okay. Oh Lord. This is one of the things they sent me, and I have really not wrapped my head around this, but every time I've used it, it has not gone well. This is the Milk Makeup bionic bronzer in the shade Shapeshift, which I believe is like, there's only 3 shades of this, I think, and this is like the medium one, and it's like just too deep for me, like really deep. And it's not like the Charlotte Tilbury contour one, which is actually also in the package that Tom sent, where like, see, there it kind of blended out. I don't know, it's just like it's kind of scary when it gets on the face. like on my skin tone, not like the color is actually scary. It also really likes to come out oily, so I'm gonna really shake it well. I've also seen people say you can use these like these liquid bronzers from Milk, like the Drunk Elephant to Bronzy drops, which I actually have and I enjoy those, so maybe I should keep that in mind. I've really struggled applying this, so I'm gonna just squeeze. Okay, see, that's like more of what the texture should be. You just really have to, it really enjoys separating, and this bottle just isn't that conducive. I feel like, I mean, the shaking worked, I just kind of wish it was in like a pump or something, or maybe even like the dropper bottle that the Bronzy is in. I just think that'd be better. This component I don't think is doing the formula and the applicator of the formula, the user of the formula. It's not doing anyone any favors, but there it is, really dark. My skin tone, not like it's a bronzer skin tone. I have not tried it with a sponge though, and that's why I wetted a sponge today. I'm gonna just take a little bit, I'm gonna dot it where I want it. Ooh, that might be even too much. And then I'm gonna blend it out with the sponge. Oh Lord. Yeah, okay. Okay. And that might still be too much, but let's blend before we panic. Okay, that looks okay. Maybe even venturing into good. Alright, I'm gonna just go directly into the product this time and then apply it that way on the other side. It definitely has like a gel-like texture, and I sometimes find with gel cheek products, they can look patchy pretty quickly. Just kind of due to the texture. It's really red. It's probably a little bit redder than I would normally go with my bronzer. Oh, do I like this? Do I like this? A big con for me either way is one, I don't really love being careful with products. And to be clear, this is not a shade that was probably made for me, or made for Tom for that matter. I think Tom got it through some, sort of say nefarious, not nefarious, but through, like Tom I don't think directly bought this. I feel like someone gave it to him. Accusing Tom of getting product through nefarious ways. But this is a much better application than I've ever gotten with it. And I think that's because the sponge is making the color work for me. I don't use a sponge most days. I find wetting a sponge to be just the choriest of all makeup chores. I hate getting ready in the morning and being like, I have to go to the sink and wet my sponge. Like, I hate it. That being said, honestly, it reminds me a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury wand. Now, like the color, like, because it's really almost like a bronzer on me. Oh, it's actually really pretty. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Handled with care, I can make this color sort of work. That's kind of fun. See, this is why it's good to do these things, because you actually have time and space to give products a chance. Okay. Well, I might still keep this then, because it actually, I mean, it looks really nice. And it looks very, not too dewy at all. It just looks super skin-like. But I mean, I look a lot tanner. The foundation match is even more perfect now with the bronzer on. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. What do I know? What do I know about anything, y'all? I think I'm going to keep this in my collection because I'm pretty impressed with that. And I think it'd be a nice mix in too. Like maybe I could even mix it with the Kosas foundation. Keys. Next up, we are going to do I actually have two blushes here. I have the Serum blush from M Cosmetics in Soft Amethyst, and then I have the Patrick Ta Duo in She's So LA. I think I'm going to use the She's So LA Duo today. These blush duos are beloved in the beauty community, and I just I've never loved them that much, or loved the one I own. This She's So LA is like a very bronzy, neutral blush. Like I almost call it just like a bronze blush. This is the cream up here, which is very like thin and silicone-y, and then the powder is below. So famously, notably, etc. Patrick Ta, the makeup artist behind the brand Patrick Ta, he advises using the powder actually first, kind of inversing standard beauty knowledge. I don't know. He advises using the powder first on application and then going over it with the cream. I have done that before and I really don't like the texture it creates, to be honest. Just my opinion, not saying he's wrong. It's his brand, his product that he formulated. He's right. Just in my opinion, it doesn't work that well on my skin tone. Or not my skin tone. It just doesn't work that well on my skin, and I don't know. It always creates a texture that I don't love. So I'm actually going to try it today. I'm going to start with the cream, and I may just stop there. Because I do sometimes like just using this cream. It's just really red for me. But I have been more into like red blushes, so... And this was expensive, so of course I want to get my money's worth from it. So I'm using the Phytosurgeon Sky Fluff brush, their big blush, cream blush brush that I really love. And I'm just going to apply it. You know what, actually, I'm going to do the cream first over here and then the powder first over there. Just to, jog my memory. Because even though I think I don't like the powder first, it's been so long since I've done that. I should really do it. So, cream first on this side. I honestly am not loving that. It's just not my favorite cream formula. It's a little... just like a little silicone-y. I don't know. I just feel like it reminds me a lot of the color of my skin that I cover up when I have redness in it. And, obviously I'm trying to avoid that. I don't know. So I'm going to try the powder first on the other side. So I'm using this rougher angled blush brush. And I haven't set this, by the way, but I don't even think I need to set this Kosas foundation because it's pretty matte right now. Yeah, I just don't think I like this color, and I don't love the formulas either. Oh, I don't know, y'all. I don't think I like this. Alright, I'm gonna go in with the cream over top of that. Oh gosh, yeah, Then I'm going to use the powder over top on the other side, the original side I started with. I think it'll probably end up looking pretty similar. I just think this color does not work for me. I don't think it's very flattering on my skin style. Why do I randomly slip into a country accent when I film videos? I just don't think this color works for me. And there's so many other blushes I love that I have in my collection. Let me blend it out a little bit with the sponge, and we'll see if that helps the situation, but at this point I just want to save this look because I was planning on going to lunch with my partner after this. Honestly, both sides, I don't like the texture. Like on this side where I went against how you're supposed to use the product, I don't like the texture of the product. It just looks, both sides my skin looks really dry. Like it dries out my skin no matter which order I use them in. So this is the powder first, then cream, the way they advise that you apply it. And then this is the cream first, then powder. I don't really see that much of a difference. I will say maybe the powder side, then cream side is a little bit more blended out and a little bit less patchy, which would make sense. I don't like it though. I don't like this color on me. I don't like the texture it's creating. It just makes, it looks like there's so much makeup on my skin, which I didn't feel before. It just looks like there's a lot of makeup just sitting on my skin. It's not skin-like. It's very much like you've got blush on. And I don't even think this is helping that much. Okay. Well, I'm going to use, you know what? By the time I powder, maybe it'll go down a little bit. All right, next up is the Flower Beauty Day Glow Highlighting Glaze. This is just like a balm highlight. Basically, there's very little, if any, base pigment. It's just a balmy highlight. Kind of a similar finish to the Glossier Halo Scope. They're like Vaseline highlight. This is pretty similar. It's very pretty, it probably looks better with like a lower key face of makeup. I have like on full blush, full eyeshadow. But I have so many cream liquid highlighters that I just prefer to this. I prefer highlighters not necessarily to look like highlighters, but I don't want just like a dewy skin finish. Like I want a little something in them. And I really don't need to own this and the Halo Scope, or maybe even either, because neither are my personal preference right now. But this, I feel like this can look a little bit prettier than the Halo Scope. Although I think I'm already just gonna declutter the Halo Scope anyway, which is why I put this Flower Beauty one in to the video. I hate that blush. Like I am now, my memory is jogged on how much I hate like that shade for my personal skin tone. I'm sure it looks better on others, but I just don't like the texture that blush gives me. It just gives me so much dry, heavy texture, and I've never seen a blush do that. Oh, it's so makeupy. I hate it. Oh, I hate it. All right. Patrick Ta's definitely going. This highlighter is what I remember. Very low key. Put some on the nose. Some in the middle of my head. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't really see a need to keep it though, because I've used a good amount of this. It has like a definite dip in the pan, not like an actual pan or anything, but a definite dip. I just have, like, I'm thinking of my Salt New York highlighter, even like my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, which I famously malign every time I do a Project Pan update. I like prefer what that does to this. I just like a little bit of, not even just base pigment, but I want a highlighter to just have an extra oomph. Like I feel like the Salt New York one has a good amount of base pigment, but also just creates, like it really lifts my face and it really just looks so pretty and ethereal, and this one just isn't doing enough. Like for me, it's like, why even bother putting this on? My skin's probably going to give this effect after a few hours of makeup wear. And also the texture, like it doesn't dry down, and you know, it's the kind of thing where your hair is probably going to get caught in it. I don't think this is necessarily a bad product if you want like a drugstore, low-key, kind of cool girl cream highlight. I don't think this is a bad one. But for me, my collection, my needs, I'm going to be decluttering this. Okay. Do I even have anything else, or is that it? I think I'm going to finish up the look, put on some mascara. Oh, and then we'll do lips. I'm also going to spray my face. Original, which is a really great setting spray actually. And I just blended the crap out of my face with this beauty blender, beauty sponge. I think this one's from e.l.f. And I think I look pretty all right now. I feel like the Kosas is looking a little bit heavier and it's starting to do that sludgy thing I talked about. Still not in love with how it's making my forehead lines look, so I'll be monitoring that. I can try to check in later. Now we're gonna move on to lips. So I have 4 lip products here that I am thinking about decluttering. So I have this Flower Beauty, just like their liquid lip formula, I guess. Miracle Lip, I think. The Miracle Matte Lip in Rosewood. This is like a true liquid lipstick. It's like a very pretty, sort of rosy, kind of like cool tone mauve rose color. I have the Rare Beauty Lip Soufflé in Brave. Gosh, that was hard to read. Which they describe as a terracotta, but it has, like, it kind of looks like it would be a terracotta, but I swear on the lips, it has so much white pigment that it almost looks like a creamsicle orange. Dose of colors, I have their liquid lip in Brick, which is like a deep brick red. I think you can see how, like, I mean, I guess terracotta, but like, I'll get into my problems with Rare Beauty in a second. And then I have a bullet lipstick from Revlon, and I think the classic shade, Rum Raisin. And it's actually pretty similar to the Flower Beauty Rosewood. I feel like I don't know which one's gonna look the best with this look. I'm gonna use Rare Beauty Brave. This formula kind of applies a little bit patchy to me, and I like the color in theory, and online I was really into it. It has so much white in the base that I don't know. See? Sure. Gosh, I don't know. I don't hate this. It's just never really what I want when I go for this color. I just want a little bit more depth. All right, let's see which products will continue in the Top Chef competition and which will pack their knives and go. This Ilia eye tint. I actually think it's not accentuating my eye texture now that I put powder over it. And I did kind of look like the way it looked, even though it looked a little bit dry. I think for every day, and maybe some days when I've been into liquid liner again, doing like actual wings, I think it might be good for those days. So this is a soft keep for now. And I think I will keep it if I do a declutter anytime soon. So 1 in the keep column, we'll count that in the keep column. I already said the Canyon palette from Alter Ego. Played around with that recently. It's gonna go. The Goddess one, same. I don't hate my eye look. I think it's pretty. I just don't. There's so many bum shades on this palette. There's so many shimmers that I just kind of find repeat themselves. It's not a color story that I'm particularly drawn to that often. And when I I just want more from the shimmers. I want more glitter. I want more iridescence. Keep 1 likely to declutter. I never know what I think of this, and even now I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. My skin looks okay. I'm not blown away. I don't love how it's looking on my wrinkles or my forehead lines. I already feel like it's starting to look a little bit heavy. I really just love the color match though. So I'm gonna see how it wears today. Maybe try mixing it with like the Milk Bronzer or like the De Bronzy drops, see if that helps at all. Because I like how it's not like that glowy. It's like a natural finish, but I mean, you can see my pores are not looking great. It's not blurring as much as I would like it to. Upon initial application, I feel like it blurred, but then everything kind of started to go back to how it looks. I feel like it looks pretty heavy on my forehead. This is one I'm just like never in love with, and this is gonna be a middle. I just don't like. I'm kind of leaning on declutter. I'm gonna see how this wears. So we'll say 2 declutter, 1 keep. UOMA is an easy keep. I love this concealer. I'm like glad I used it today. I have other like especially my Glossier one I'm really trying to pan right now, but I want to try to use this more for spot concealing because I was really impressed with how well it spot concealed, and it was a nice skin tone match for me. So definitely keeping this one. Also gonna keep the milk. I'm actually surprised. I thought this was gonna go, but using the sponge, I actually loved the way it applied. I just love the way my skin looked with this. It looks so natural, but definitely bronzy. I kind of want to mix this with other things too. This is really nice, and I'm glad I sat down and gave it a proper chance. This is a very big one. I feel like that and the UOMA concealer are like the two big ones from this video and things I'm excited to reach for again. However, it's Patrick Taw. I'm also glad that I got to sit down and really use this again. It's with the setting spray and constant blending, my skin looks better, just not great with this on. And this is definitely a declutter for me. This one's gonna go. I've already waxed poetic enough about it, but I just don't like the texture of those products, to be honest. I think the Flower Highlighting Balm is gonna go too. It's pretty. It's just not... If I'm gonna bother putting on highlighter, I just want it to be a little bit more than this is giving. So not a bad product, but I mean, none of these are really bad products. I'd say some of the Alter Ego shadows are kind of bad, but this is, I'm also going to declutter. And then this Rare Beauty lip. It's dried down a little bit more, but it still just feels so thick on my lips. And I'm just like never that into the color, and I think I'm gonna declutter it. Like, I don't know why like if I kept this, I would never use it, and just every now and again I would do something like this and be like, oh yeah, I kind of don't love it. So there's just other products I have that I like more than this, so I think this is gonna be a declutter too. So we have 3 definite keeps. The Ilia, even though this is a soft one, for now it's a keep. And then the Milk and the UOMA, definitely keeping all 3 of these. Kosas is like a soft declutter. I want to see how it wears for the rest of the day. With the way it's going, it's probably going to be a declutter. And before I filmed this, I was like, I'm definitely going to end up decluttering the Kosas, but it's kind of doing what it always does, where upon initial application, I'm like, it's kind of nice. And then I think it's going to wear poorly, as it usually does. And then these 4 products, the Goddess from Alter Ego, Patrick Taw She's So LA, Flower Highlighting Balm, and Rare Matte Lip Soufflé, and Brave. All of these are going to go. Just glad I sat down and played around with them and gave them the chance they deserved, but those 4 are definitely going to pack their knives and go. Checking in. It is like, I don't even know what time it is. 3 hours later? Let's say 3 hours later. And I walked like 20 minutes to lunch. After that, walked like around the area and like 30 minutes back. So I've probably been walking for about an hour, I would say, and it's pretty hot outside. And everything actually looks pretty good. The foundation is holding up better than I expected. The bronzer came off my forehead, but that's because I was wearing like a headband and my hair was, like, that's acceptable, and that happens to me with every bronzer because I sweat a lot. The blush looks better now. I'm still not going to keep it, I think, because I just have blushes that look a lot better that I don't have to mess with as much, and it looks pretty now, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm always going to have like reservations with that blush, and there's a lot of other blushes where I don't have reservations with. I think the eye look is really pretty. It's still not compelling enough for me to keep a palette that I am really just not that into. And like I said, I need space in my palette drawer. What else? I think the highlighter is pretty, like, much gone. It's worn off. That glow is just from my skin. But I do think using the Hydrogrip helped the Kosas, actually. The concealer looks really good. I feel like everywhere I spot concealed looks really good. So, yeah. I also feel like the camera's doing me some favors. Like, I'm in very natural light. Let's see if I can. Oh Lord! All right, we're just gonna. Ba-doom. Okay. Well, this is still natural light. I don't know, I just feel like everything really melted in. That's probably the setting spray and the sweat. So thank you all so much for watching. Oh, I already did my outro. The past cam handled the outro. And that's all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel for future videos. Please give it a like, that helps me immensely in the algorithm. If you want to see my face every day, you can follow me on Instagram at @clove_room. And today's parting thought is that you should make it a priority to do things that in your mind are optional. You shouldn't, like, if you know a walk outside is really going to help you, don't let that be an optional thing that you only do when you get enough work done or are productive enough. Make self-fulfilling tasks a priority. It actually makes the perhaps less fulfilling tasks that you feel like you have to do because of work or life circumstances, it makes those easier because when you fulfill yourself, everything just becomes easier. So basically, I don't know if that made any sense, but if you want to go take a walk outside, this is me telling you, you don't have to do anything to earn it. Like, it's beautiful right now. At least in Atlanta, it's beautiful right now. Go take a walk outside. Bye, y'all.